Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And it is the third Friday of the month. So welcome to another sketch series video. I'm part of Erin Jacobson's downline, and several of the members of her team are going through the volume 6 sketchbook and doing a layout each month. So this month we are on layout number 12. So I am going to do a layout using a bunch of plaids. I went through my stash and I just pulled everything plaid that was in muted grays and blues. And yeah, I just went through everything I could find. And the pictures that I'm going to scrapbook are of a day that we spent last weekend at the Scottish Festival. So I took a few pictures, and I'm modifying the sketch so that I can put more pictures in, because they're not great pictures. So if you make them smaller, they look better. So yeah, so I'm going to put more pictures on my layout. So off camera, I have gone to my Cricut and I pulled this cool Scottish bagpiper image from Cricut Access, and I cut that out with some of the plaid. And then I cut out some Scottish flags. So that's what I'm going to use for that, the banner at the top of the left page. So I've got several of the Scottish flags cut out. And when I was there, I bought a sticker, and this commemorates the 60th annual Colorado Scottish Festival. So I'm going to add that to my layout. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use a base of Indian corn blue. It's kind of a gray blue. And then I'm going to use some of these plaid papers from the Mixin collection. So I pulled a couple. This one has charcoal with the diagonal diamonds on the plaid, and then this one. And I like this one better. It has what color is that? Mink as the color for the stripes with the white base. And I wanted something that was that had a pattern on it, but I wanted it to be clean, as opposed to using a piece of white daisy. So that gave enough white space for me to begin building my design on. Okay, so I'm going back to the book and just checking measurements. So now I want a piece that is it's a pattern, but not a lot of noise going on with the pattern. So I went to some wood grains. This is also from a Mixin collection. And that will be my base for my pictures. I don't want a lot of stuff going on behind them because of all the plaids that I'm going to layer in. So I want to start with that clean look. And also the flags will pop better on this mink wood grain. And you can see that here, rather than putting it on a plaid. The flags will show up better on this wood grain. Okay, so that's a start. And I have my little bagpiper. He's going to be over on the left side. And this is a zip strip from the Good Life collection. And it's a base of mist. And this is how I'm going to set up my picture. So I've cut down the 5x7 on the left. I've split that in half for 2 pictures. And then the 3x4 at the bottom on the right, I split that as well. And then I added in an extra picture or printout there. It's of, we found our family tartan. So I went ahead and pulled that and an image of it and printed that out on my photo printer. And now I'm just bringing in some more of these plaids. So the one that I made the bagpiper with, I used Gnomes for winter, and it has some blues and mist, and I like that. And then I brought in this other plaid that is from the Good Life, and then I needed something that wasn't plaid. So this is from Take to the Sky from Stampinup. It's currently available. So on camera here it looks like denim, but when you look at it closely, it's more of a, I don't know, like a grid hash mark on a couple of different blue colors, so close up. But from far away, it does look like denim, but still, it's something that's more of a solid. It's still a print, but your eye sees it more of as a solid, similar to rest. So that will be in the back. And when you look at the diagrams, the sketches in the book, if you look at piece A, B, C, D, if you lay them down on your layout in order like that, you'll have them placed in the correct order. So that's just a tip for using the different diagrams, and you'll see how things can layer up. So we'll add this one, and it is piece D. So we'll layer that one in, and then that last one is the Gnomes for Winter, the smaller plaid on top. Okay, so I'm looking at that Scotsman, and he's kind of disappearing there, so I need to do something about that. So I think I'm going to put a circle behind him to make him pop a little bit more. So this is Mist, and it's the light side of Mist. And I'm going to bring in a Spotlight on Nature dies. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the largest die circle, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, it's helping, but still he's not quite popping enough. So I'm going to bring in some linen, and then we'll cut the next circle size down in Spotlight on Nature. And so we'll run that through, and we'll layer that up. And I like that. Now he pops. I like that. Okay, so make sure he's resting with his feet at the bottom of that brown plaid. And we're getting there. Okay. So I cut out a couple more circles in Mist so that I can reflect the circle theme on the right page. And I'm going to put my sticker and that other small picture of our family tartan on the other circle. Okay, so this is from Designer Tags, and I cut the large tag in linen. And then off camera, I used, this is some stencil paper, and I made a stencil. I just plugged into Cricut Access Celtic knots to look up different variations of Celtic knots, and I liked this one. So I cut it out on my Cricut using stencil paper, and I created my own stencil. So I'm going to mask everything off, and I'm going to lightly blend with a blending brush some mist ink over this stencil. Very lightly, because I've already done my journaling on this tag that I made. And normally I wouldn't have ribbon in there, but it was kind of an afterthought. I wanted to add something to that tag to make it look a little more interesting. So I'm going to make this work. So I'm just blending very lightly and just kind of building up color. And I want to be able to read my journaling, so I don't want to go too dark, but I still want to see it. So love the way that turned out. Pretty cool. So we made our own tags here. Okay. So that's going to go in there right about there. And so I'm looking at this tag and I'm thinking, okay, it's starting to, it disappears a little bit on that white background. So we need to do something about that. Okay, so I'm looking at that and figuring out how I'm going to layer things and cluster my circles. And yeah, we're going to do something about that tag. So I'm going to bring in some, what color is this? Boho blue and a blending tool. And I'm going to ink around the edges. So a lot of times, instead of adding an extra element, if you just ink around the edges, then you can get your elements to pop off the page and kind of give them a frame. So I have been attending the Scottish Festival in Colorado for several years, with the exception of the couple years that we lived in Tennessee, of course. And even before I met my husband, I was volunteering there and really enjoyed going. The festival that I volunteered at was in Highlands Ranch, and then they stopped doing it there. And I think it was because they just didn't have enough room. And there's another one that's up in Estes Park, which I really loved going to. So I've been doing that for several years and just kind of following them around. It's lots of fun. Okay, so I'm going to do some treatment to these two background pages. And I have some Tim Holtz spritz, and it's the Distressed Mica in brush pewter. And I'm just going to add a couple of sprays on the left side of the left page and then up in the right corner on the right page, just to give a little more interest to the background paper. And then I'm going to bring in some Delusion's Balmy Night and do the same thing. So you'll notice in a second that I got a very large amount on the left page right there, but I'm going to fix that, so don't worry. So when I put any of this kind of mica spray or anything with a lot of sparkles to it, instead of turning it over to add the adhesive to the back of it, I like to put my adhesive down first and then put that paper on top. And that prevents a lot of the mica from brushing off and making a big mess on your Versamat. So I'm going to put that down on top. Okay, now we can start building our background. Okay, so this is the first piece. And it's actually it's the second piece, because piece A is that large plaid square. And then piece B goes down. And I'm just following the measurements on the diagram on the pattern and using the measurements on my Versamat to figure out where everything goes. So I'm going to show you building the left page, and then I'll do the right page off camera, just so you can see how everything comes together and how I'm going to cover up that big splotch of the Balmy Night. I didn't want quite that much. Sometimes there's a need for that, but on this particular layout, it was too distracting. So I'm going to cover that up with that wood grain piece. Ta-da! No mistakes. You can always cover them up. So just going to build everything together here. And then we'll layer all these plaid pieces in. So that's the left page. And then we'll bring in the right and put that together. So then we'll add those zip strips to the top. And I'll just lay everything out here. So I was pleasantly surprised to learn that after there was no more space at Highlands Ranch, the festival moved to a couple different places, apparently while I was down living in Tennessee. And last year, they landed on the Denver Polo Club, and who knew it's located like south of town, not in Denver, and actually not far from where we live. So I was shocked to discover that, but very pleasantly surprised. So yeah, we decided to head on over there last weekend, and my brother and his wife came, and we're both huge Outlander fans, and my brother and our family has some Scottish roots, and we looked up our family tartan, and anyway, it's lots of fun. We went to the Estes Park one a couple years ago. I've yet to scrapbook that one. I will, though. It's a fun day. We did some whiskey tasting and listened to some bagpipes, and later on there was a band with some Scottish dancers. So yeah, it was a fun night. So I'm just fussing with these embellishments and kind of figuring out the placement of everything. And you can just see me moving things around, and I think I like that. Okay, so now I want to make a little banner to add that we found our family tartan. So I have cut that out with the wood grain, and these dies are part of the Stylish Shapes collection. So I die cut the smallest banner here, and I'm just going to write Our Family Tartan to label that picture. So we'll add that, and we're getting there. So you may have noticed also off camera, I have inked the edges of all the papers on my background and the mats for the pictures. Now I'm going to bring in some of these industrial trinkets, and these are part of the Take to the Sky collection, and I'm going to flip them over. They're supposed to be airplane rivets, but the other side is kind of cool too, and I like that. So I'm going to add glue dots and put these down in between each of those flags. And I think they look pretty cool in between all the flags. And then I'll add another one over on the right side. Got to have a little something shiny on each of my layouts, right? So I'll bring these closer to the camera, and you can find close-up shots on my Facebook page. I will put the URL at, you'll find it at the bottom of the screen, and also a link in the description below, and you can see closer shots of these two layouts. Make sure you look up Erin Jacobson's playlist to find all of the other videos featuring sketch number 12 from Make It From Your Heart Volume 6. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. And then you'll be able to find all of my videos. And thanks for watching.